Man, catgirls are the best thing to ever happen to the internet. Yeah, what the hell is a mmorpg? Do you always enter rooms like that? Do you always answer a question with a question? So you were saying? Oh yeah, what the hell is a mmorpg? I have no idea what that is. Corporate wants us to look into some trend and stuff because then they said, and I quote, "There's big bank to be made." Wait, what did we do here again? You mean you applied without knowing? How the hell did you even get hired, bro?
You don't work here. I do now. What? That's not how this.
So you're gonna help me with this or not? Alright, I'll Google it. Just spell it for me. Alright. M M O R P G. Bro, you're an idiot. That's an mmorpg. Yes, I can spell too. Lord help us when I am the voice of reason. MMORPG is a genre of gaming. Man, you kids have labels for everything these days. Back in my day, games were games. I have a whole lot more of those fancy words on the list, and I need you to explain them all to me because we're on a deadline. I will, if you promise not to pronounce them. Alright, deal. Now just do your fancy computer thing. Alright, just give me an hour.
2 hours later.
Bro, these are all pictures of cat girls. I sent the wrong file, but I do have the presentation ready for you since you're here. Putin? Can he do that? Welcome to Gaming Genres Explained by Lag. An MMORPG is basically two gaming genres in a trench coat trying to pretend that it's not a nostalgia trip of times gone past. The MMO part stands for Massively Multiplayer Online, which used to mean thousands of players playing together at the same time, but nowadays you'll see people happy if they can get like 100 people in one instance that are actively playing together at the same time for any game that's over a year or two post-launch. The RPG part stands for Rocket Propelled role-playing games, and now I know what you're thinking, and no, role-playing isn't all about having goon time inside the taverns in Final Fantasy. It actually means putting yourself into the role of that particular class or hero to do things that you normally wouldn't be able to do IRL, like socialize, or, in some instances, afford housing. For example, as a tank, you'd play the role of being on the front line and protecting your allies by drawing the aggro or the attention of the enemies to yourself. Many MMORPGs put you in the role of the main protagonist where you're on some grand quest to save the world or right the wrongs, or even just help people for your own personal gain, all of which tie into the RPG aspect of things while having the ability to play with other people without needing to group up first. I mean, kinda, sometimes. So I absolutely love MMORPGs. In fact, my first channel was dedicated to them, but you'd find most of the MMORPG community saying it's a dying genre because the top games have all been the same 10 titles for the past 25 years. That's longer than some of you have been alive. Within the genre of MMORPGs, there are a lot of different categories that you'd find people placing them into, such as being theme park MMOs, sandbox MMOs, open world MMOs, or even hub-based MMOs. Not that kind of hub. So let's break those down, right? Theme park MMORPGs refer to games like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy. Those games that kind of guide players on linear quest lines, where the player experience is more or less the same or very similar at least. Like, you have quests that you unlock at level 10, go help NPC A, and then quests you unlock at level 15, go help NPC B, etc, etc. Sandbox MMORPGs, however, refer to games that have a more player-driven experience like Albion Online, or even RuneScape, where you can do things in, more or less whatever order you're most interested in. I mean, for the most part, outside of level restricted things, I guess. So, the emphasis is that there is a more player-driven experience. I don't know, it gets kind of complicated. Hub-based MMOs are games that don't really promote the open world experience as much, where you'd run around and meet other players, but instead, there's like a little central hub, a little social district, if you will, where you'll it would link you to instances or dungeons or quests. And games that would fit this category are like Vindictus and Dungeon Fighter Online. Finally, we have open world MMORPGs, and these are games that claim to have a seamless open world experience in, well, the open world, or the general map that enables you to explore continuously without loading screens. Even though I've noticed that using teleport features in some open world MMORPGs does in fact trigger a very short loading screen, or long if your name is lag. Also, open world MMORPGs can be either theme park or sandbox, so again it's kinda complicated. Good examples of those games that I've played with in recent times have been Throne and Liberty and Guild Wars 2. I think that more or less covers the MMORPG genre, so let's move on to the next genre on the list. RPGs, like I said before, are role-playing games. They most commonly refer to single-player games, but they can also refer to multiplayer games where you have things like co-op. The main focus of them would be that you play through the story as a main protagonist or a series of main protagonists to achieve some overall objective. Popular titles from this genre would be Devil May Cry, Skyrim, The Witcher, and even games like Genshin Impact. But they don't all have to be action-packed. Within the genre of RPGs, you have many sub-genres. You have things like ARPGs, which stand for Action RPGs. These would be games that are more focused on action combat rather than traditional tab targeting combat. Then you have JRPGs, which are Japanese RPGs, which would be games that are more anime or anime inspired, that really focus on story and immersion into the world. And then you have turn-based or strategy-based RPGs, where you build your teams and use each character to the best of your ability to achieve your objectives. The RPG genre has honestly evolved so much over time that there's no way for me to do it any justice in such a short skit like this. And allow me to break the fourth wall here and ask you to comment what your opinion of RPGs or even your favorite RPG is down below. Alright, time for the next genre. MOBA stands for Multiplayer Online Battle Arena, and the two most prominent games that come to mind immediately are League of Legends, which is kind of toxic, and Dota 2. MOBA games are games that would allow you to play as a character of your choosing that would fit a specific role, like an ADC, support, jungler, etc. As your character, you're going to fight alongside your team, which is usually consisting of other players, and you'll fight against an enemy team to destroy their objectives while protecting yours. These explanations are getting shorter and shorter, just like your attention span. So let's move on to the next genre. Pew Pew is a genre purely for the tryhards and sweaties that will rage quit for getting killed 2 seconds after spawning in, and they'll insist that everybody else is hacking. Okay, that's a joke. But, I personally have never had a good experience with shooter games, other than that one time.
Direct hit. Taking fire on my enemy down.
Shooter games can be broken down into two main categories. They can be either FPS or first-person shooter games, or TPS or third-person shooter. Alright, enough. But I wasn't even halfway through yet, bro. Was that all AI-generated slop? Even no. Incidentally, I think we need an insulting name for people that use AI for everything. Isn't that the same way that people used to use Google before? Google helped you search for things, You still had to think, not just type in prompts and get in made-up answers. I use a much more reliable repository of sources. Don't tell me. I use Reddit and Twitter. Alright, that's it. I'm out.